heard the word toji.
You know it.
To those viewers who are unfamiliar with it, that is Mandarin for bluff, right?
That's right. And actually literally means steal the chicken. But, you know, steal the pot. It's kind of the same concept. You see how Tan Xuan's got the flavor for these pseudo connectors in any position? He's got a different style compared to some others. Tony G is going to be our mystery hand as they go to war again with the company of 𝐬𝐻.
10-8 deuce. 3 players in. For
12.
6K ahead, was it? 7?
Yeah, this is Tony's type of board, so when it gets checked to him, it makes sense that he's betting, whether he's got it or not.
Second pair, the product of big blind defense from Joe.
Expect Joe to come along on the flop. He's got a middle pair, could have the best hand.
Predictably down to heads up as Tan gets out of the way. Jack on the turn, bottom end of the gut shot. That's the development for Joe.
The bottom end is not ideal in this spot. It's very plausible for Tony G to have a queen in hand. So if you hit a 9, you could lose more chips regardless. You're hoping for a check through if you're Joe, but doesn't seem that's coming. 40K. This does not feel good.
Almost full pot.
I would think these 2/8s are usually hitting the muck unless he has a very strong read that Tony G's messing around.
The problem is, even if he is messing around, he covers us.
And he's got a ton of outs, usually.
Let's say best case scenario.
Wow. That is a loose call. Unsure if he's ahead.
Loose and deeply surprising from Joe. Diamonds come in on the end. He unblocks that. And the point that I was on the way to making, as we see Tony snap jam the river here, was that when we make that call, we're going to be facing a river bet at decent frequency, and there's really almost no card on the river that we're going to suddenly start betting. Bar maybe an 8. The 7 puts a 4-liner on board where any 9 makes a straight. The 9 that gives us the jack high straight gives any queen X a better straight.
I don't see how Joe is going to call here. I mean, there's so many hands I got. Queen 4, Tony G. What a bluff.
Made it.
What on earth?
Tony, you're a
Make the
sicko.
show for you guys.
赢他买花，买花赢可以圈，反水啦！赌场的进来钱之后要反点水。看没牌赢算球，
一圈没牌赢啊，
赢买花了
2万多啊
，2万多，对啊，里面4万多，
这个是 TV table， 这个跟踢昨天一样的。
Another premium ace for Tony
就是要
G. Blind versus
我
blind.
肯定不付了。
8 becomes 32.
这个要付1点以后付。1点之前肯定是不付的。这个面子要搞住。
Elton getting in there, Queen 10.
And flopping trips. This board is fantastic for his purposes. Just the club dangler and a swift c-bet from Tony.
Can't blame Tony to bet this flop. Oftentimes Elton will be check folding.
Quarter pot follow through.
Quick call.
Wow. The check raised to 50, an extra 30 plunked in there by Tony, and a problematic turn as he hits the king.
This is a great card for Elton because Tony often does have ace-king when he check raise very small on the flop.
圈购，那你花那么多副嘛？几十副花，他小忙了。
75K.
几十副没有，十几
Bet
副。
and called. Another
红线啊。
150 into this one, and
有红线
that 8 of
有红
hearts
线 A 我到
presents
call 了
no concerns to Tony G, whose ace king is going to turn into a
下
bluff
面的
catcher
话
shortly,
有红心 A 才
under the presumption that
7、8
Elton
红心这些
is going to
东西
barrel.
55是也考了，1赔3嘛。
对啊
Elton is definitely going to barrel.
你自己算嘛，下面的话什么底下的话
Doesn't want Tony G to check back. And he's got that image where, you know, the other day, it didn't go so well for me, so time to get some money back. Might even just jam it.
I mean, the line is polarized as it is, so jamming
我问 GTO 看一下。
120扣的
does further support the I either got it or I don't. And you see Tony hates to see this.
It's understandable he's uncomfortable here. His opponent is repping the 10 to check raise flop, bet turn, and jam river.
Here's the thing, it's not just any opponent, Randy, it's Elton Sang.
Elton Sang can show up with way worse than a 10.
Absolute gunslinger, fearless, and a part of some of the biggest cash game pots ever recorded.
我怕我一 call 完之后，你死了人，对不对？算无所谓了。
And those record-breaking pots, by the way, it wasn't all aces, kings pre-flop.
对，
It
我到
was
昨天，
all manner of holdings.
对，一步做。
对啊，昨天我那么小，对不对？
This is a very tough spot for Tony.
你还赢嘛？你2万多赢
Call
6万
He
多。
calls.
Call.
3次1次就够了嘛。我想了2个，
Wow
我要 call， 哪个没有这样想的？打牌就这样想，盘没不 call 完他妈的有点，
Okay, give me 500 more.
别人觉得我在 solo。
Good night, first bullet.
要不要去？你 slow
Hello, 900K pot.
的嘛，不是不有代价。
打上头。
遇到的时候让2把都没去，应该是没有进。
Aces for Elton
然后你就
on the
抓
button, limps it in, and kings for Tony G. Oh boy.
The limp on the button. How can Tony G ever give Elton credit for aces?
And forgive me because I know we still need to see some cards
哎
out
你在
there.
后面算了。
But as we see
Vinny,
Tony make it 20,
看随便
let
啊。
us recall that within the first orbit, Tony lost $500,000 to
哎，有2
Elton.
波我遇到 Aaron 睇有冇偷我嘅？
And
啊，直接問小
he's
張嘛
poised。
哎呀，有個咯，
to lose more than that in this
我
exchange.
問他他不講嘛。
Depending
啊
on how
沒有啊
bloody
不好意
things
思
get. The limp re-raise to 70.
要不要偷300個？偷的啊，肯定是 over。
I don't blame Tony G for
千六六。
him thinking he's got the best hand and make it
外面
He's
245.
got the second nuts pre-flop.
教你打。
Randy, he's got a character across the way who gets frisky, takes some creative lines.
200, how much?
偷了
But
1
in
把。
reality, all he's got is a big, big problem. Now, for Elton, calling another 175,000 here
哦，只要偷1
screams
把，1把
strength.
偷1把沒偷啦，1比1啦。
It does, but it doesn't necessarily mean
圈
it's
6
aces given
小
the，action.
來圈，
But it is.
後來又來6。
I think Tony still loves his hand from his point of view.
那個應該不是9夠啦，9夠怎麼斷的？啊，只偷了1步，只偷了1步。哦，那步是什麼了？
Queen Jack 7, that texture could be somewhat concerning to Tony. You see him slow
他
down,
說，他說，
especially because to call that big a bet,
你不記得肯定不是很
a
大。
little bit of queen involved.
I
Maybe we
mean-
think the jacks fold.
Look, I don't know how often you see a button limp that's willing to put in $245,000 all of a sudden. It's not clear. What is clear is that aces is betting 150K. I feel like Tony's committed. Like, you can see him kind of shaking his head a little bit. And he's stacking them. Is it the aces that he's up against?
You think that's more on his mind?
對啦，
I think so.
啊，
有没有
打
偷？
2槍，這把沒偷啊，
没有偷啊？
圈6
no la
3
robo, dije.
2個草
Dije que no
花
la robo.
我打了，
Que no,
來
no,
的
que
圈
no la
我
robo.
也打，還有
get away would be amazing for Tony.
You're right about that.
Let's put in a third of his stack in pre-flop. He's all in.
Check jams. Figures we're going to get it all in anyways. Elton beats him into the pot, and Tony is breathless.
Yeah, that,
$1.5 million out there.
𝐴𝐴𝐾𝐿
There is the matter of running it once or twice.
Tony's on miking.
Before
Look at that pot size.
lim
，A 色是 lim，一回事了，有什么区别了？这个，
不可以 lim 的吗？
因为是跟打得更快。
I guess they're running it once.
一样的。
Oh, he's got a chance.
几次啊
One more out. One time.
One time.
I'm rooting for a 10. 10 of hearts. 哦，哎呦，GG。
GG, Tony G.
Well,
I think he's walking away.
他妈的，Elton。
I think if he was on the other end of
这
this,
种东西的哦，
it would be the moment
我
where
是从来没有遇
the
过。
words on your bike would be crossing his
有
lips,
人
and
TK 的
Tony sprinted out of
为什么
here.
我昨天我不可以
And
没
did
有
so
出 K 啊？
$1 million in the
Yeah,
hole
yeah,
at
yeah.
least. More than that, I believe.
More than that. Tony, Stephanie's on his way. So Tan's going to limp the small blind. Tony G on the Shadow. Jack 8 suited is going to say more. Tan looking to do some damage against Tony.
Calls. 6-5 tray, open ender and backdoor diamonds, checks over to 2 overs and a flush draw.
A very fair fight between two very different kind of draws. Full pot.
So the limp and call of 20K more pre-flop, and now a check and face 50.
Extremely deep, 1.4 million effective. Tan's trying to break down what does this full pot size bet mean. It was raised pre, so the little stuff, not really expected to be in Tony G's range, yet he's still betting big. We know check raise is something he's always thinking about. And he is still going to check raise despite full pot.
This is gangster. Note that King High is actually the best hand right now. Basically a flip with 2 to come. Advantage Tony ever so slightly, though that is no longer the case once the 10 of hearts reveals itself. And by the way, Tony calling that big check raise certainly sets off alarm bells for Tan, given that he limped and faced the 20K raise pre and couldn't shed this holding on this very dry flop in terms of Tony's holdings.
I think that Tan Xuan is going to put Tony G maybe on a spade draw, possibly on an overpair to the 6. I really don't think he puts him on this bottom end type stuff that hits, especially when he's holding a 4 in hand that blocks some of those cards. I kind of feel like Tan Xuan is going to barrel once more large, and if he's up against an overpair, he might think those hands will just lay it down. Maybe 250 or so? that's full pot, isn't it?
Big boy poker in progress right now. And all of a sudden, Tony G being asked to pay a very hefty price with what at the end of the day amounts to nothing more than jack high right now. And every now and again is a hand that when the spade does roll off is still
Oh
no good.
my
He jams
God,
over
all
the top
in.
and takes it down.
You got to show this, Tony. You have to.
Yeah.
Show the jack of spades.
Wow. What can I do?
Oh my
Good one.
God.
I want come. I have the heart and commitment to the game.
I knew it. I knew. Honestly, I knew it, Tony. I really just knew it. Really.
You knew I wouldn't give up, right?
No, I didn't know it. No, I didn't. I don't know you have, but like I knew, like when I saw my hand, I knew like you were gonna play big pot with him this hand.
I mean, Jax, what can I do? Just hold it, like just give up.
Jax, that's a good one to say.
Probably has sevens, fours.
I like it. I really like it. That's the play of the day, Tony.